The boys just finished the last episode for season 4, and I quite liked it. I had very high expectations going into the season because of how legendary season 3 was. I loved that season. Best season of the show. But the first 3 episodes felt very slow and kind of wasting time a little bit, and I was just like, okay, I want to get into the main meat of the story. But as the season progressed, I liked the season more and more. Particularly episode 4 and episode 8. Not only the 2 of the best episodes in the season, but of the entire show. So I want to start off with the new characters introduced in this season, and 3 of them were added to the 7. The first of which being Sister Sage. I'm a huge fan of super smart and calculated characters who like reveal their plans like as the show goes on, because it's just super cool. And Sister Sage didn't really do that for me in the beginning, because she had this plan where she wanted to turn the Starlighters into the enemies. And so there's a full-on fight between the Starlighters and the Homelanders, and then when it ends, it looks like the Starlighters fucked everything up and everything goes according to plan. But it also didn't, because within 24 hours, the boys figured out that Sister Sage was behind it, because she was physically there. And I'm like, okay, for someone that claims to be the smartest person in the world, you really shouldn't be caught like that in the open. Like, you should really send someone else. Someone like L from Death Note feels like a threat immediately, because he's able to deduce Light's location and age within the first 3 minutes of him being introduced. So he feels like an immediate threat, whereas Sister Sage gets caught immediately. So in my opinion, she had kind of a weak introduction, but then she kind of grows into the character more and more as the season went. And that's kind of a theme with the season, in my opinion, is that as the episodes went along and as they actually tackled the main story rather than the side quests, the season got better. The other 2 introductions were Black Noir and Firecracker. Now, the only criticism I have of season 3 is that Black Noir kind of sucked. So much character development in season 3, and I was expecting big things, and then he just fucking dies, like out of nowhere. Homelander just fucking gets pissed and punches through him. All of that character development in season 3 felt a bit wasted to me, and I was like, oh fuck, that sucked. And so now they have a replacement to Black Noir, and I'm not a huge fan of him. I'm not gonna lie. I think The Boys has really great comedy, and Black Noir is decent at it. But when his only job is comedy relief, then like that doesn't sit right with me. Like someone like The Deep, who's funnier in my opinion, he's also a real character. Like I am genuinely interested in what he has gone through and everything. And then Firecracker, she's probably my favorite addition out of the 3. She has a good backstory with Starlight. It makes sense why she doesn't like her, and you kind of root for her, because she's like not even that evil. Like the only thing she does is like brainwash people on the internet, which is like pretty fucking normal these days. And it's pretty funny seeing her try and be with Homelander and then having to put up with him because he's such a fucking psycho. Overall, I enjoyed the new additions to the 7, but there are 2 more characters that one of them I really like, being Joe Kessler, and he is the main focal point of the best twist of this entire show, which was that Joe Keller is in Butcher's head. I was like, holy shit, this is sick. If you go back to the scenes where Butcher and Kessler are interacting with each other, it's actually really obvious. I love it when TV shows give you hints to future plot twists that you feel like you should have known, but at the time there was no way you would have known. I love when shows do that. And then we get probably the weakest character in this season, the fucking gay guy. I can't be bothered to search his name up. Frenchie killed his parents, and then now he's on a side quest to like fulfill himself. He's fucking this gay guy, and I'm like, I don't give a shit about this. Like, I love Frenchie. In season 3, he is one of my favorite characters. Behind Butcher, Homelander, and Soldier Boy, I would say Frenchie was 4th. That connection between Frenchie and Kimiko was brilliant in season 3, and in this season, he's just such a letdown compared to the previous one. I like the message the show is trying to say through those characters is that, yes, the past is done, but there's no point dwelling on it. You should move on. I like the message, but I just don't like the execution that much, because I wanted to go to the main story rather than these side quests. And that's kind of the main problem with this season, in my opinion, is that the story feels a bit jumbled up everywhere. Like, you're jumping from one place to another. So for example, Huey, he doesn't feel involved in the main plot until like episode 4, because he's busy dealing with his father, who's not very important to the overall story, and then his mum comes back. It was a little bit emotional, but it felt like filler to me. And the same can be said with Firecracker and Starlight, although that is a bit more connected. With Deep and the fucking octopus, yes, it was funny, but it still feels like filler to me. I think this season shines with the main meat of the story, which is the whole virus plot. Now, let's talk about the best thing about this show, not just including the season, but the entire show as well. Butcher and Homelander. I think they're both one of the best written characters, not just from this show, but in general. Let's start off with everyone's favorite, Homelander. He's brilliant this season, especially episode 4 with the lab. That is probably my favorite episode of the entire show. Because everything went to shit with Starlight and Firecracker. Everything went to shit with Homelander and the lab. Especially that. I fucking love that shit. For the first time, we feel, maybe not empathy, but we can reason with Homelander. Like, we can understand why he's such a fucking asshole. Because he was treated like absolute shit in that lab. Like, he hinted towards it in the first 3 seasons, but in this season they go full throttle with it and we realize like, oh shit. But what really makes him scary is Sister Sage. I think Sister Sage makes him way more powerful because by the end of this season, he's like the vice president basically. Like, fuck. And all because of Sister Sage. So she feels like Elle from Death Note. She feels like a genuine threat. And yes, she is in the spotlight, which sucks. But that's also not really her fault. She openly admitted like, I don't want to be in the 7. I'd rather be working in the background. So she has to play with the cards that she's given rather than playing by her own hand. Anything to do with the virus, I found really, really fucking cool. This idea of a virus killing every single soup on the planet is so fucking cool. Butcher has the opportunity to kill Homelander, but at the expense of Starlight, Ryan, all the soups that he's met along the way. So now he's crossed this dilemma of, holy shit, like, how do I deal with this? Now in season 3, he was excellent. They covered Butcher's past about his father, and that is super relevant because he has to take care of Ryan now. His only motivation for staying alive for the last few months that he's alive is to help Ryan. He prioritizes that over killing soups, which is why he doesn't want to fucking genocide superheroes, because he cares about Ryan. We really feel for him because in season 3 it's revealed that he was treated like shit by his own father. Butcher tries to hide that. He's cast away by the boys, yet he won't admit that like, fuck, I'm fucked up. Oh yes, A-Train is excellent. He fizzles out towards the end of the season, but he is going through such a big character arc, and I'm so glad he is, because he was always part of the 7 from the very, very beginning, and he doesn't feel as fleshed out as like Maeve or Starlight or whatever, but in this season he is going through a full transformation. He's probably got the best arc, surprisingly, and I wasn't expecting it. Oh yes, of course, another thing The Boys does really well is making the viewers feel really fucking uncomfortable. They went pretty far in season 3 with the whole Herogasm episode, but they really outdid themselves in episode 6. They went really fucking... I couldn't watch it. I explained the situation to my friends, and they couldn't believe me. It was like, what the fuck? That happened in a show? Like, that episode was so fucked up. But I couldn't look away, as I'm sure most of us couldn't. So I had a pretty big complaint with the show in general, up until the very last episode, because characters, they don't... Like, there's too many characters, it feels like. And they don't really kill them off very often. Like, yes, there's lots of death in the show, but the main characters, like, they kind of feel like they have plot armor. But then, in the very, very last episode, one of the biggest characters, Victoria Newman, just gets obliterated. I'm like, holy shit, my jaw was in the fucking ground. I could not believe it. So that happens, and then the boys get captured, and then Homelander's vice president. That ending is definitely the best ending to a season for the boys. I am super fucking hyped for season 5. But back to the characters. They should have killed off Maeve. No one from the boys has died. Like, out of Frenchie, Kimiko, MM, like, I don't know, like, it doesn't really feel like they're in real danger. Like, a lot of the best shows out there, whenever there's a huge battle, often a big character dies in each battle. However, in this show, the boys kind of go into a mission, and I'm thinking, well, no one's gonna fucking die. So the tension doesn't feel as high as it could have. Because I think in this season, I reckon there's like, what, like 6-7 missions, and only one time has a big character really died. So overall, I think season 4 is better than season 2, but it's not as good as season 1, and definitely not better than season 3. It didn't quite reach the high expectations that I had, but I still thoroughly enjoyed this season, and I'm very hyped for season 5. Let me know what you guys thought of this season. Where would you rank it in terms of the other seasons? What is your favorite character, your favorite scene? I'm very interested to know. And let me know your predictions for season 5. And if you saw the post-credit scenes for the very last episode, Soldier Boy's back. So very good characters back into the boys, so that would be cool. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I am going back to university tomorrow. which is fun. So hell yeah. All right, see you guys.